you should be Trump's press secretary. Look, I would be very good at that job, but come on, Alex Jones, like there could be no one better.
At the moment of writing this script introduction, we see a chaotic children's slumber party at the thought of White House glory. Grifter jobs for all. I feel this is endless destabilizing of the public and media's perception. I hope. A giant troll. I hope. Alex Jones for press secretary. Hey, don't laugh. He lost weight for this. Large Marjorie Taylor Greene for Department of Homeland Security. Will her good friend, Crown corporate Milo Yiannopoulos, be advocating for a return of the crown?
But this break, this rupture that happens with the sedition and getting rid of the king resets the clock in America, and there's none of those things to draw on. And just trusting that people are going to stay Christian and therefore be nice to each other was stupid. And I want America to succeed and to win, and it would have done so better as a member of the Commonwealth in good standing. Member of the Commonwealth in good standing.
And end of the Republic as an intern again, maybe on Tim Pool. Again, he can get another $100,000 a week from the quote-unquote Russians, but we know who that is: Nathaniel Rothschild, Oleg Deripaska, Paul Manafort. Come on, add a few dots, people. All I need to see now is Eric Coke and Smack Prince for director of the CIA, and I'm getting drunk and taking Valium and Prozac and several margaritas. They want Pompeo out, the only adult to survive the 4 hellish years, who put Bibi and his China and Russia fetish in place. He will be required to sue the evangelical vote as a base goes into Gaza and Bibi retires. Someone has to issue the Arab world a giant apology as the Bibi Likud City of London terror network is pulled down. The caveat for a giant turning against the Trump train is a real high-level job for Chabad Lubavitch, Elon Musk, and his buddy Jared Kushner. That is a line in the sand, and you must go to war with Trump if that happens. Hopefully, the post-election children's slumber party chaos will end soon, and the little princes and princesses will be put to bed with a hot milk drink and a grifter job looking after the rights of straight, wonderful, conservative squirrels everywhere. Back to the video.
Did he ever deliver anything in 4 years?
He lifted the arms embargo on Ukraine. If you remember, Obama had an arms embargo. We would not sell them any lethal defensive equipment at all. And Trump got rid of that and provided them their first anti-tank systems, and that opened the door to lots of allies providing lethal arms and probably saved them in February of 22 when Russia did the full-scale invasion. He also closed down the Russian consulate in San Francisco, which, in hindsight, it was a brilliant move because it was only a spying operation on Silicon Valley. And he basically said, we're just going to shut it down. We're just not even going to have that. He also threw out about 80 intelligence officers from New York and Washington. And he really went after Germany and the Nord Stream 2 pipeline because he quite correctly said at the time that we are paying for your defense and you are giving the money to Russia, against whom we're supposed to defend you. So this makes no sense at all. You need to shut down the pipeline. So he had a lot of the right ideas and a lot of the right policies. And I think that we have to differentiate between his desire to maintain the ability to negotiate with an authoritarian leader, so person to person, from the desire to take tough policies to shape the playing field for that negotiation.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, evil Trump and what he did with Ukraine. Man, the narrative has turned on a dime. Suddenly, Trump's not a bad guy after all. The Times Radio 2 million subscribers did nothing but bag Trump like he was the orange monkey syphilitic idiot. Suddenly, well, maybe he's not a bad guy after all. You just heard it there from the former ambassador to Ukraine, that what Trump was actually doing after Obama. We're actually going to talk a lot about Obama to understand Kamala, to understand why Biden hates him and why they all wore red when Jill Biden went to vote. Because Biden is the left hand of Skull and Bones, Trump is the right. And there's J.D. Vance waiting. After 4 years of Trump, it's highly likely J.D. Vance will be president. Highly likely. That's Heritage Foundation and the Hoover Institute and good buddies with Steve Bannon. So if Steve Bannon can't be chief of staff, he'll have his good buddy J.D. Vance in there. I'm already disturbed by what I'm seeing in the Trump administration. Really finding it difficult to cheerlead the Trump administration, even with gloves and a mask and a respirator and aprons to keep the pus off. It's making it really difficult. But you know what? After a little rant against Trump and what he's already doing, I'm going to tell you all about Obama and Kamala in the City of London and General Flynn. But first, No sooner is Bannon in there on the war room than he's got General Flynn on. Really? Flynn just died and went away somewhere, the January the 6th instigator. Him and the military intelligence Shadowgate crew in Ali Akbar, Tiny Prancer. You know, Tiny Prancer. You know, the guy who's given head jobs to Karl Rove? That's Ali Akbar. Owen Schroyer calling for revolution, Alex Jones calling for revolution. They were the literal ringleaders. Owen Schroyer wasn't even going to be indicted. Then they thought, oh, it doesn't look very good. We better put Owen Schroyer in a federal penitentiary for 6 months so he can practice his golf swing, play a bit of tennis in Club Fed. Alex Jones doesn't even get anything. Alex Jones just gets more publicity, not so much as a slashed tire or a broken window. You know the story. Remember, the craziness we see is all about destabilized perception.
The underlying aim, Surkov said, was not to win the war, but to use the conflict to create a constant state of destabilized perception in order to manage and control.
The craziness we see is all about what Boris Verevsky set up in Russia, isn't it?
Quote, consider the fascinating perspective of the recently deceased Boris Berezovsky, once the most powerful of the Russian oligarchs and the puppet master behind President Boris Yeltsin during the late 1990s. After looting billions in national wealth and elevating Vladimir Putin to the presidency, he overreached himself and eventually went into exile. According to the New York Times, he had planned to transform Russia into a fake two-party state, one social democratic and one neoconservative, in which heated public battles would be fought on divisive, symbolic issues, while behind the scenes, both parties would actually be controlled by the same ruling elites. With the citizenry thus permanently divided and popular dissatisfaction safely channeled into meaningless dead ends, Russia's rulers could maintain unlimited wealth and power for themselves with little threat to their reign. Given America's history over the last couple of decades, perhaps we can guess where Berezovsky got his idea for such a clever political scheme.
It's all about crazy, unsettling, destabilized perception. It's about giving you horrible monsters to be slain, just like we saw. It's keeping everyone very, very busy. God forbid, number one, Jared Kushner makes an appearance. Number two, Eric Prince makes an appearance. God forbid. Now, I can understand politically playing the political game, getting Elon Musk on side. I can understand that. But the global village idiot, besties with Jared Kushner, a child of the Jewish day school out of South Africa and friend of Netanyahu and others, a man who's good friends with Ari Emmanuel, you know, mummies, Rahm Emanuel, Ari Emmanuel, brothers. Mummy was a Mossad asset. University of Chicago. Who's that? Who is that? Chief of staff for who? Obama. And Obama's going to come up again and again and again. City of London. Kamala. That's why Biden hates her and vice versa. Vice versa. That's why you suddenly saw everyone turn on the cat lady. No one would back her. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to give you some context to this whole thing. God forbid Eric Prince turns up. They can hang around sniffing like the dogs they are. But if they give Elon Musk, it can't happen. If it happens, I'm going after Trump full time. If Elon Musk actually gets a high-level job in the White House to trim the fat, the first person to go broke when the money's saved would be Elon Musk. And all the contracts and gigantic $700 to $1 billion in subsidies that he gets from the government, he would be the first to go broke. It is worse than absurd to put Elon Musk anywhere near the White House. It is absurd. If you did it to get on board and play games, okay, now make him the Minister for Squirrel Protection. Whatever. But I'm already seeing very unsettling things. We're seeing people say, no, don't get... Of all the people you need in the White House, Mike Pompeo is one of them. Him and Mattis are the ones that sat that dickhead orange clown Trump down and told him how it was going to be. And to his credit, Trump actually did it, and actually did a pretty good job. That's the irony. Watching him go after Germany, man, he went after Germany and NATO for Russia. I mean, big time. Wasn't an act. There were some really good things that were done. But we're getting now to the point where it's doing my head in. You see good things, 5 minutes later, you see 20 bad things. And you're going, are we kidding me? Or is it just going to be worse than I thought? I am seeing things I really am getting to the point where I can't play this game anymore. It's like defending Putin, and eventually you go in 2017, all right, I have been a complete fool. Putin is obviously in bed with Netanyahu, obviously. And we fleshed out the narrative, didn't we? All those years ago. But I was embarrassed. I am not going down that path again with that fucking orange clown who has been a criminal informant for the FBI for 40 years, along with his buddy Roger Stone.
The underlying aim, Surkov said, was not to win the war, but to use the conflict to create a constant state of destabilized perception in order to manage and control.
His long association with Epstein, but admittedly, a lot of people had relationships with Epstein. And I've heard many a story that Trump would wander over to his house over there near Sunny Isles or wherever Epstein was living, and he would see children, young females in the pool, and go, oh, Jeffrey's got the kids, the little girls from next door must be using his pool. And then he realized something was going on, and he said, I'm getting out of here. Oh, really? But you never called the police. But apparently banned him from Mar-a-Lago. Okay, good for you. Never called the police? Everybody knew what Epstein was up to. Everybody. Trump has been working with the FBI. He's a moron. He's worth $250 million if he's lucky. The successful billionaire, you mean the guy that's been broke 17 times? You mean the moron that was drug money laundering through his casinos, involved in Deutsche Bank? And they're all dirty. Biden's even worse because he's actually a pedophile who's diddled his own daughter. His son is a crack addict who's probably a pedophile cracking on to his 15-year-old niece. Sick, twisted family of the Bidens. I'm glad Trump's there, but I'm already starting to regret what I'm seeing. You need to know what Trump is. Pus. Like they all are. And I'm over playing politics. Pus. With Trump tards who think he's the fucking Messiah. That is fucking embarrassing. If people just said, well, he's the best of a bad bunch, I'd go, look, I get it. But watching the cult of personality grow up around this clown, who, to be honest, looked like he was trying to lose the damned election, it's starting to get, and he's fading, and he's doing very stupid things. Here we go again. I just hope that things settle down and the madness doesn't go on for too long. That's all I can say. But why the hell is General Michael Flynn still hanging around?
I know, it's not bad. Hi.
I'm Mary Silva. I'm running for Congress.
Great, good for you.
Yeah.
Here?
Yes.
Try to get up there. Sure.
Yeah, this is me.
Okay.
And I brought you a present. This is a book.
Okay.
It's about the Cultural Cold War. I felt like everything you talked about was right there with what she's talking about. Francis Donna Saunders. Thank you.
Okay.
It was great to meet you.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you. I know you got a lot of people.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Has he not got the message he needs to? Fuck off. All right, I'm going to stop. Let's now talk about Obama. After George W., we're going to start around 2000, 2001 when 9/11 happened. George W. Bush is hanging around Heinz Kissinger, of course, who's shaping U.S. foreign policy and domestic policy for that matter via his Jewish philosophy, whatever it takes, basically. We see the unfolding of Odo Giannone post 9/11. Obviously, heavy Israeli involvement, heavy Russian involvement. There was French involvement. There was German involvement. Ironically, and here's the rub, the Israelis were also warning, the French were also warning, French intelligence, German intelligence was also warning, which simply shows how the network is a parasite embedded in these institutions, which includes MI5, MI6. Christopher Bolin showed us all. No one will even mention Christopher Bolin's name any longer. He exposed the whole damn thing, particularly the Israeli angle and all of those hardcore Zionist Israeli forces, Amit Ran, we could go on and on and on and on and on. Unit 8200 Telpiot. Of course, Bolin had his own shortcomings, particularly his love of Russia, but I just think he'd been duped and he was exhausted. I can understand Bolin was exhausted. Now you'll never heard him mention his name. Whitney Webb won't mention his name. James Corbett has never mentioned the name Christopher Bolin. Doesn't that tell you something about who's who in this zoo? You should know this already. We know the truth. The truth is very simple. So there we have the global village idiot, George W. Bush, with Dick Cheney running the show. We see a new world order coming into view. Ode to non. I believe they thought they were going to go and sit there in Eurasia. We'll come in, sucker. Your job was, as they got duped, your job was just to, because Cheney hated Israel, hated them with a passion for a long time. But they went in anyway, and the rest is history. Paul Bremer has made the two IC of Kissinger and Associates. There it is again. Paul Bremer has made the Tsar there in Iraq and sets the whole place on fire. Sacks all the Ba'ath Party members, and even Flynn said words that you're going to cause a counterinsurgency, which is why when I first saw Flynn, I was happy because I remember him making statements that we can't sack the Ba'ath Party. It's going to be chaos. A lot of American soldiers are going to be dead and a lot of Iraqis. Flynn was a part of that Pentagon crew, warned about that. Bremer did it anyway, and what do we have? A gigantic Sunni insurgency and that Sunni Shia rift and Iran coming into the region, which was the plan. First, you set it on fire. And they did. Ode to non plan, reshaping the Middle East for the benefit of Israel, and of course, the Belt and Road with the three amigos. Netanyahu, Putin, Xi, and Germany, and Gerhard Schroeder, they're all in there. So as this unfolds, of course, as the chaos erupts and America is completely exhausted and they've smashed the world to pieces, lo and behold, Obama comes in 2008 after the financial collapse. So Obama gets in there. What does Obama do? Many things. He bails out the banks, number one. Don't worry about anyone else. They all become millionaires and billionaires again. They all pay themselves bonuses. No one goes to jail. Fancy that. We've all forgotten. Currently at the moment, we have, apparently everyone's excited because Donald Trump is talking about term limits for Congress. I'm sorry. Why are you even talking about that? Why are you talking about term limits for Congress? Let the people speak. I don't even believe term limits for the president. So basically, if you're running a business, you get someone good at their job and then you force them into retirement. Does that make sense to you? If you have a good president or a good congressperson or woman, keep them. Keep the talent. Keep them doing a good job. Why would anyone want to get rid of competent people? Clearly, if they're incompetent, the people will vote them out, just as they did recently. So I'm afraid I'd like to know, what is the problem? Why is Trump leading with shit? Why is Trump leading by coming out and saying, oh, everyone's excited. Oh, we'll have term limits. How is that a good thing? If the people decide to get rid of someone, they will get rid of someone. It's very simple. It's called democracy, or in the case of the United States, a limited republic. I'm sorry, why do you need term limits? And why is that even an issue? I'd like to know why Trump hasn't come out swinging. Because fucking Bannon got up when he got out of jail and said, we're going after the moneyed power. Oh, we've got to play politics. I think I've had enough of the Q-tard trust the plan, we've got to play politics, haven't you?
The European elites, of course they hate Trump. Because they understand President Trump is a populist nationalist. They understand about what he's talking about is trade. They understand what he's talking about terrorists. They understand he puts American citizens first, and he puts American citizens' economic benefit first. So if I was an elite in Europe, yeah, I would be quite concerned about Donald Trump because, number one, it's going to inspire populist movements throughout Europe to actually get off the dime and start winning elections and winning them big. The system is not only broken, the system is rigged against the working class of this nation. And I saw at Danbury that we're going to move past the politics of race with an intermediate stop in the politics of gender, which is being forced on everybody right now. We're going to get to what is important, and that's the politics of money. And once we get to the politics of money, there's going to be some fundamental changes in this country. Hispanic and African American men. Now, why is that? They understand what the scam is. They understand that this administration purposely let in millions of illegal alien migrants, illegal aliens, to drive down labor costs. The Federal Reserve said it from the very beginning. We're going to drive down labor inflation by getting more unskilled workers here and putting pressure on the lowest skilled sector we have. And they were successful, and they brag about being successful. Who are voting for Donald Trump? These people are very smart, and they see their lived experience every day, whether it's in New York City or throughout other major cities in this country and other states, that their lived experience is worse. And their lived experience is worse because of policies of the powerful, the wealthy, and the strong.
Where was the coming out swinging? Right, left, right, left, right, left. Don't worry, Brendon, he's going to come out. He's going to arrest the pedophiles. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. You better hold the hot fucking rod up his ass and Bannon and all the fucking rest. We want to see the moneyed power, the international banking cartel dealt with. Don't say, oh, we got to do it quietly, because the international banking cartel and BB Milikowski know you're coming after them. They fucking know. But the only people that don't know is us. So don't give us the bullshit that you got to keep it quiet. You don't keep it quiet. Are we headed for more bullshit? From day one, the first hour, that's exactly what's happening. More bullshit. There is nothing to get excited about having term limits for Congress or the Senate, or for that matter, the fucking president. If I have a competent person within the Congress or the Senate or the presidency, I don't know about you, but I fucking want them to stay there and to keep doing a competent job. And if I get sick of them, the engaged citizenry walks in and gets rid of them. Remember? That's supposed to be how it works. We've seen Putin get around term limits, haven't we? I think it's all getting a little bit silly already, and I never thought it'd be this fucked this short in. 24 hours in, I'm already regretting everything I fucking said. And I have a horrible feeling it's going to get worse. And we're going to see Jared fucking Kushner, 666 Fifth Avenue, New York. Habad Lubavitch, organized crime, racist fucking lunatics, pedophiles, meth dealers, sex criminals, sex traffickers, with the closet homosexual Jared Kushner and the whacked up, coke sniffing, orgy attending Ivanka. I'm sorry? If he goes anywhere near that White House with that fucking piece of shit Ivanka, and if the absurdity of Elon Musk, if it was just politics to get him in board and get a demographic, now you're going to like push him out or give him some shitty job. All right. But I have a horrible feeling Kushner's going to turn up with him and they're going to be fucking, dear God, no. No. If that happens, it's over. It's already over. There's nothing good to say. And I noticed already on Joe Rogan the warning, get rid of Pompeo. No, do not get rid of Mike Pompeo. You want Mike Pompeo in there. I promise you. I'm already extremely concerned. I mean, what's next? Fucking Eric Prince is going to be director of the CIA? I mean, seriously? The fucking clown show. The fucking clown show. I pray it settles down. All right. It's been a bad day. Let's talk Obama. So we've come through. We're into Obama. No one's gone to jail. The bankers are doing whatever they want. Trump's not talking banks. He's not talking cleaning up anything. All the stuff that Bannon's led with, City of London, East India Company, all the incredible stuff. We need new security clearances, complaining about Netanyahu not being an ally, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? If you see it, let me know. Please make my fucking day so I can go, oh, thank God. Please make my day. Please let me know. You're wrong, Brendon. Here's the link. Here's the clip. Here's the timestamp. And I'll go, oh, thank you. Why aren't they swinging? It's just like fucking before. Hulk to big talk got in. Bullshit. Fuck all. Well, I can't say fuck all happened. A lot of good things actually did happen back then, but not nearly enough. Then COVID hit. We're not going to have another COVID. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. That's not happening. So Obama gets in. What does Obama do? Who's sniffing around Obama's asshole? Who's right up Obama's asshole? None other than New York liberals, Jared Kushner, and Elon Musk. What a fucking surprise. What a surprise. Elon Musk was so far up Obama's ass, it was funny. Who was Kissinger closest to out of the Democrats? And it wasn't Hillary Clinton, who used to praise all the time. It was Obama. He was closest to Obama. And then Obama was withdrawing from the world. You can see there's books on the multipolar world order and how Obama was withdrawing from the world. And then when Obama left, Kissinger suddenly comes out and goes, oh dear, Obama didn't engage enough. What do you mean? You told him not to engage enough. There was little old Kissinger covering his butt. So what was after that? As he's chatting there so quaintly with Donald Trump. Trump was going to do what? Trump was put in by Cambridge Analytica, SCL Group, all related to NATO. Correct? Yes. Nobody thought he was getting in, including Trump himself. Nobody. But Kissinger knew. Adelson knew. They all knew. They all fucking knew. That City of London, SCL Group NATO, City of London. Lo and behold, Trump gets in. What was Trump's job? Withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. Let Russia and China into the Middle East where, it's time for Russia to take over the defense of Israel, where it said they would have a freer hand in the occupied territories. Would you like 500 links to the relationship between Netanyahu, China, and Russia and what was coming? How many would you like? Whitney Webb ain't going to tell you. That's for sure. Well, what happened? Skull and Bones boy hit. The Mike Pompeos of the world. The Jim Mattises of the world. They got rid of fucking Flynn. City of London Flynn. Did Obama really fire Flynn because he hated him so much? Really? Are you sure about that? Or was that a long-term planning strategy from the Defence Intelligence Agency, MI6 and other places, City of London network? Oh no, I've had a big fight with Obama. Trust me, I'm a conservative. I'm here to help Trump while I hang out with Putin and beg and plead with Putin and apologize to Lavrov and sorry, we'll fix it, boss. But of course, they're not the boss. City of London's the boss. They're all related. You sure he really had a falling out with Obama? Sure about that? Kissinger? He's right in there. Who in their right mind would do January the 6th? Flynn was front and center. He was front and center on that Q-tard shit, Defense Intelligence Agency shit. So it was disgusting. And he's still there. He's still there. On Steve fucking Bannon. Really? What's another thing Obama does? Here's what Obama does. He's withdrawing from the world the whole time. What does he do? He's soft on Putin. He actually refuses to give them any weapons. He refuses to give Zelensky and Ukraine any weapons. Imagine that, as you heard at the start. But Trump comes in and does it, or more precisely, Mattis and Pompeo and others and Tillerson and the rest make sure Ukraine get weapons. And as far as I'm aware, Trump didn't complain too much about it, just one of a couple of bit things here and there. So with that in mind, Obama doesn't give Zelensky anything because they were handing Ukraine to Putin, of course. That was the plan when the withdrawal started happening from NATO into the multipolar world order. Lo and behold, what else happens? That's Obama, totally dismantles NASA, gets rid of the space shuttle against the wishes of all the hardcores, eviscerates NASA, cuts their funding, and then hands a giant $70 million contract to fucking Soyuz and the Russians to lift US space persons up into the International Space Station. $70 million a pop. That's a gift to Russia. What else does he do? He hands all that technology, Department of Defense and NASA, to his good fucking buddy, Elon fucking Jewish day school South Africa Musk. Friends with 666, Hubbard, Lubavitch, Jared Kushner, and fucking Kissinger. He is a product and a long-term project, a half-wit who has been pushed and promoted as a legendary Tony Stark. Obama handed him NASA. The whole point was the shift of the center of gravity, as Kissinger did, was shifting the center of gravity from the Atlantic America to the Pacific, said it in 2017. September 2017 in South Korea. That was a warning. Get used to it, he said. Well, they weren't getting used to it. They said no. Then, of course, we get COVID 2020, don't we? That was the warning. That was to come in 2028 when Jared Kushner was going to be freaking shoved into the presidency. I mean, geez, the audacity, but they were going to do it. The New York liberals, hanging ultra conservatives now. No, the New York fucking liberals. They believe in global warming, all that other crap. These people are a menace. Are they going to put them around the White House again? We're going to see it happen again? Seriously? God help us. So they hand on all this stuff to that village idiot Musk, and he would be the richest man in the world because they were going to merge it with China, weren't they? He's going to have access to all the lithium. He was going to be getting all the deals over there in China, and you would see SpaceX and you would see Tesla become absolute gigantic fortunes, but they're an artificial company, totally artificial. Once it came in and it was decided to just F China, end of story. That's the skull and bones boys, the coffin masturbators, the Fred Smiths of the world. Once they got in, the old establishment, waspy establishment, once they got in, things started collapsing for Musk because he's a village idiot. It has to be handed to him. He has grown on gigantic billion-dollar subsidies with his shitty cars, with a gigantic psychological warfare troll army, the same troll army that's pro-Putin and the same troll army that's doing a million and one other online personalities. It's the same City of London crew. Israel, Russia, they're all through the system. Musk is a self-evident moron, and you only have to go to the common sense skeptic to see the lies. I just listened again to the Q3 stuff, and he's just bullshitting more and more and more and more and more to the point of absurdity. Everyone wants the Tesla truck. Nobody wants the Tesla truck. Nobody. More lies. 2 million orders for Cybertruck. No. 40,000 orders, and no one wants the fucking thing, and they're all trying to get rid of them. It's a disaster. Doesn't matter. He's anointed. He's anointed with oil. He's anointed with oil. They're going to keep him going. He's got to end up in jail sooner or later, though. He has to. I don't even see how they can protect him, because nothing is going to stop the collapse of that whole thing. Nothing. So there's Obama's job. There's everyone complaining at NASA about him cutting back funding. Again, to eviscerate internally the United States, just as Kissinger shifted all that manufacturing overseas. Now they're shifting high technology. You see Intel Corporation, guess what? They're cutting back all the R&D in Israel now. Eviscerating their R&D staff, sacking them left and right. But they're keeping the general staff for the fabrication facility. Israel can have a fabrication facility, no problem. But you can't have a fucking hardcore, top-of-the-line research and development there, where you stick all the hardware backdoors in there, don't you? Because there's no one around, only your little tribe, to make sure no one's looking with your little friends from Russia. Notice Boeing going down the tubes? It's industrial espionage. It's industrial espionage. That's what's going on. Intel, industrial espionage. It's being sold off. Apple's looked like it might buy it outright. They could buy it 6 times over now. Intel's a disaster. Absolute disaster. Don't worry, they'll still keep it. It's a national security. As Gordon Chang says from PC World, it's the only person I've seen, good old Gordon, been around forever. Intel is the military, quote. He's the only person that gets it that I've seen. Israel's getting more and more. Moore's law is dead with Tom now is starting to talk Israel a lot more. A lot more now. It's going to come out, I promise you. It's going to come out. Christomas, this. Christomas, God mode unlocked. Link is below. So I want you to think really long and hard about this narrative. Obama eviscerating, good old George W. Bush has started it, but it's been happening well before then. But 9/11 happens, 2001. Get the United States into a war, exhaust it, set the Arab states on fire, allow Iran into the region to pressure the Arab world to make peace with Israel, playing off the hadiths, 70,000 Jews from Isfahan, turning the place into fire, a giant inferno, killing, a couple of million people by now, 500,000 in Syria alone. You see how that unfolded, cold-blooded murder. Paul Bremer just happens to be what? The second in charge of Kissinger and Associates. You can't make that shit up. No one's told you this. No one's telling you this stuff, are they? Nobody. You remember when I first did the video on it, 2020? Video 39, a family civil war. I lay out that narrative. So we see it unfolding, moving through George W. Bush, all the way into Obama. Now we've exhausted America, 2008, financial collapse. Now we're going to withdraw America because you're exhausted. And that was the next program. Remember, the public they don't care about the public. They care about US elites. They've got to convince them. The public don't matter because they're stupid fuckers who just sit there all day clicking links and complaining online and selling coffee mugs and T-shirts. They're after the elites, the billionaires, the millionaires, the political financial class and so on. They've got to get on board. We're exhausted. Look, we can't handle this. It's a disaster. We need a multipolar world order. That was the plan. Multipolar world. And there's Obama setting it up. And Trump is the village idiot they were going to use to what? To do the final coup de grace, to withdraw out of China and take the heat as billions and billions and billions are lost, and then form the multipolar world order. Supply chain problems, start to break it off and cut it off. Trump would do 8 years, set the tone for everything, withdraw, so on and so forth. Then they boot him out. Jared Kushner comes in, the New York liberal, to set things right. Trump takes the heat for everything. The outsider is booted out and he's well paid along the way. It didn't go that well. It really didn't go that well. And that's where we sit today. Biden gets in because, look, they can't deal with Trump. He's a pain in the ass. Getting anything done. It's not just him. You got to understand, the Biden foreign policy was identical to the Trump administration foreign policy. Everything, the CHIPS Act, you name it. There were good things the Trump administration did. The same people run on the Trump administration with the same people run on the Biden administration. And they kept everyone busy with the DEI bullshit, diversity, equity, inclusivity crap, with the drag queen story time shit. It's just, what did Curtis say? Destabilized perception, to just keep people spinning in circles, screaming and yelling at each other over bullshit issues. Like, oh, we need term limits for Congress. Did anyone ask for term limits from fucking Congress? Why is anyone even saying it? I'm starting to believe that, the sooner Trump is got rid of, the better. I'm starting, if this continues, hopefully, someone couldn't replace him. I don't know, J.D. Vance seems to be well placed to do that. Isn't that funny? There's something very wrong. I'm not seeing the things, it didn't have to be perfect start, but some of the stuff is just bizarro world. It's already starting to get bizarro world. I am really deeply afraid the last 24 hours alone. And there's been some very strange things happen to me because I don't want to get too conspiratorial, but I've been having a lot of problems with my sound all of a sudden. It didn't help that I put in a solar system with a modified sine wave inverter, which can cause all sorts of problems. And I thought it was that. That completely bamboozled me, but it wasn't that. I thought, wait a minute, there's something not right. It did work, but then it didn't work. I couldn't work it out. Now, how does this sound? Sound perfect? I don't know, because I've doubled up on my sound. This time they can't ruin the sound because it's on that DJI mic as well. So there's Obama with, Rahm Emanuel, his chief of staff, that piece of shit, a literal Mossad asset, literally his brother, and they're all hanging around with none other than Elon freaking Musk. Fancy that. All related to Obama, the Jewish mob out of the University of Chicago, the old Trotskyites, Bill and Irving Kristol. They all, oh, look, I'm right wing. Oh, look, I'm left wing. And they're all the damn same, aren't they? Aren't they? And there's Obama, and there's Musk, there's Rahm Emanuel, Ari Emmanuel and the gang. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And Biden hates him, hates Obama with a passion. They get rid of Biden. In comes Kamala. Nobody liked her. I heard they were getting rid of her. They couldn't stand her because she's a dumb piece of garbage. She was put there because she was an attractive middle-aged woman of color, and that was it. Then they just dumped her and said, go away and be Bortazar, you dumb cow. That was a setup. But Obama gets her in. There's Obama again. City of London, Chicago mob, Jewish mob. There they are again. That's Obama and Kamala working with Kissinger. Now gone. Atlantic Council. It's really about time this clown show was shown for what it is. Who else is there? Look at George Kaiser, besties with Obama. George Kaiser running the Kaiser Foundation in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're in every freaking state. It's not one guy. There's hundreds of them running these foundations, all Israeli firsters. What else is good old George Kaiser doing there? Bringing over Unity 200 staff into the University of Tulsa, Oklahoma. What else is he doing? He's got oil and he's got banks. You can bet he's drug money laundering and he's besties with Obama. And let me think, I don't know, Clinton, Soros Foundation, Bill Greiner, all the gang up there in New Hampshire, drug money laundering. How about that? Look at them. All linked in. City of London. There's the half-wit Trump. Do you feel confused yet, Jared Kushner? Do you feel confused yet? Elon Musk? What is going on? The demographic they're after. Joe Rogan desperately doing interviews saying, whatever you do, don't have Pompeo. No, you don't want the person that is actually going to fight back. If your head's spinning, it should be. It's a lot of destabilized perception going around. But when I see General Michael Flynn, Defense Intelligence Agency, enemy of Obama, I don't fucking think so when he's doing that 7 rays of light, that prayer. Dear God, there's the giveaway. The audacity. Straight on Bannon. Who next? Eric Prince for CIA director? Well, at least the drugs will be flying. But the good old days, Mena, Arkansas, Barry Seal, Bush and Clinton's. Rock and roll. Do you seriously think they're going to be deporting millions of people? You think Trump's going to deport a single person? It's not happening. They might do a perp walk when people start kicking up saying you betrayed us again, you fucking clown. They'll do a perp walk of a few people. How are you going to get rid of people? Number one, they have to be able to go back to their country of origin. If the country of origin won't accept them, they can't go back. And then even if they can go back, if they refuse, you can't get them on a plane. They're not allowed on a plane. You're going to have to handcuff them all. Does that include the women and children? Are you going to put bags on their heads when they fight back? You're going to need, what, military aircraft? It'll be a military operation? Okay. What if you don't have permission to land at the airport in Caracas in Venezuela? And Venezuela told America to fuck off. They're all yours. We don't want them back. What about Cuba? Guatemala? All these other places? Colombia? And what about if the people go, all 7 to 12 million of them? I'd say there's 4 to 6 million, really. I think they're exaggerating the numbers. But anyway, a lot of people. 4 to 7 million people. They're very well organized. I know I've seen them as they come up through Mexico. Highly organized. They've got apps. They've got everything. They'll just put the word out. Everybody refuse to go. There's not enough prison places to put us. They can't threaten us with jail. They can't threaten us with camps. What are they going to do? Put the women and the children in the camps? Think about it. You haven't thought this through. How's he going to deport them? He can't deport them. It's all bullshit. So when he says millions, nobody's going to be deported. Nobody, full of shit. They'll do a perp walk for a few people because to placate the true fucking believers. That's where this ends up with the whole immigration bullshit. Obama. Kamala. And what do we see? They're all in on it. If in the next week you don't see something radical, because at the moment it's tokenism. What bullshit? Oh, well, term limits for Congress, and everyone's excited about it. Really? I'm sorry, I wasn't requesting term limits for Congress. Were you requesting term limits for Congress? Whose idea is term limits for Congress? Or is that just to get rid of useful people? Do you think the worst thing you could ever possibly do is automatically get rid of competent people? That's the point. And if they're not being got rid of, well, what does that say about them? But really, what does it say about the voting population? They're the fucking morons. You leave it in the hands of the people. The people will vote in or out the people who are competent. If they are competent, they will do a good job. So what? Okay, your term limit's up. You've got to go now. Why? If everything's running well and they're doing a competent job and they're doing a good job, why wouldn't you leave them there? Who benefits from getting rid of competent people? Are you trying to get rid of competent people? Like you got rid of competent people out of fucking Intel Corporation, the blue chip company of blue chip? Did you get rid of competent people out of Boeing? Who wants to get rid of competent people out of the United States? Industry and politics. I'm telling you now, you watch that orange fucking clown like a fucking, you watch him big time. I do not like what I've seen in the first 24 fucking hours. Let me tell you. And I have a horrible feeling it's only going to get worse. And they've already got Alex fucking Jones. He's looking much better now. They've got him off the Terps and the Dexies, and maybe his wife settled down. She's not screwing around behind the back when they have their group sex parties. His prostitute wife, Erica Wolf. Alex Jones is, globalists are going to arrest the pedophiles. Yeah, I think we've heard that one before. And we await it's like Hitler's going to lock up all the Jewish bankers and kill them. Yeah, can you name me one Jewish banker? I'm sorry. I see a lot of Jews died in the camps, but I don't see many Jewish bankers. I don't see many globalists being, we're going to have to Hillary and the UN and Soros. Oh, really? You're going to have to Soros. We're still waiting for that one. But they're actually going to go with that one again? That's like Flat Earth, January the 6th. Q. We're going after the globalists, really. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that as something most people were interested in at the time. They're really interested in the economy and they're really interested in competent leadership, and they're really interested in the appointment of competent people to get the economy booming. I'd consider that probably the number one priority, and maybe a little justice. How about a little justice for the billionaires out there off Wall Street that made an absolute killing off massive taxpayer handouts? And for God's sake, if Elon Musk sticks around there and actually gets a job to trim the fat, do you realize that that is actually, they're laughing at us? They are laughing at you, America. Elon Musk is the biggest recipient of the free fat. He is one of the biggest recipients. He exists purely from government subsidies and gigantic handouts, as Donald Trump himself managed to tell everyone. And then suddenly he's wonderful. He doesn't even feel, at least Bannon felt the need to clarify his position because Bannon hated Trump. He said he's a global village idiot, he's a moron, and he's a menace, and he's full of shit. Him and Kushner. Now he has to backtrack. And you know what he said? Well, he's come around, and he was a big globalist, very close to Obama. He said that after he got out of jail. Wow, that was interesting. At least he clarified why he's changed his mind. Trump never clarifies. He says, I've always thought he was wonderful. What are they getting out of Musk? Because to be honest, he doesn't have any money. I hate to break it to you. He really doesn't have any money. So I'm not sure what they're getting out of him. But he might be a conduit for money. How about drug money with his brother running backwards and forwards to Mexico on the private jet every 5 minutes? How about that? How about drug money? Eric Prince, drug trafficking or money laundering through the evangelical church is not enough for him? How about that? How about drug money, Elon Musk? Because if you can tell me where Musk has got any money, he's not getting his $50 billion handout for his pump and dump scheme. The next week are really going to set the tone for the clown show. And I really do not like what I'm seeing right now. I really do not. And I'm going to make a silly prediction. I'm making a prediction very early on. Trump is going to have to go if he keeps this up. All that clown show around him is going to have to go. And it looks like J.D. Vance is waiting in the wings. And if Trump gets his head blown off, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be sorry. If this continues and Jared fucking Kushner goes anywhere near that White House and his dumb, useless bitch of a daughter, if fucking Elon Musk continues and actually gets some sort of powerful office where he starts trimming the fat, it's time for fucking Trump to go. It's time for him to go. Time for him to go now. There better be some fucking changes in the next week. And that includes getting rid of that fucking piece of shit, Michael fucking 7 razor fucking light Flynn. That bad turd that will not flush has been around long enough. I'd like to know where all the Stop the Steal, $160 million Stop the Steal, where did it go? Into Sidney Powell's house? Remember Sidney Powell? The Venezuelans did it? I'm sorry, does anyone have a fucking memory? We're in clownland already, and I am now desperately worried. I had a lot more to say. I've had a lot of trouble with sound, trying to fix shit, and I'm stubborn, and I say, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Instead of just giving up, I have a problem with being very stubborn, which is useful at times. But in this case, I spent another 4 hours determined to fix it. I got another mic. I had a spare mic. I said, that's it. I fixed it. The DC current has damaged the microphone from the modified sine wave. No, that was F2. So now I've literally got 3 mics. I got a mic on top of the camera. I got the DJI mic on top of the microphone, and I got the microphone, which I tested, and it worked wonderfully. But it's done that before. Worked wonderfully. 5 minutes later, boom. It's doing the same old thing again. I just want to end on this. You cannot disengage. I got to be honest, today I was just going, I hate this. I was watching stuff and people were sending me messages. Oh God, I hate this. I feel like disengaging. It's like, oh God, what's going to be next? Let me guess. Jared Kushner turns up. Musk does get a high level position in the White House. You know, I'm sorry, but hasn't he got a SpaceX to run and Tesla to run and a giant multi-billion-dollar corporation to run? But apparently he's going to work in the White House. This is pure fucking gaslighting. Burn this into your brain. Adam Curtis, burn it into your brain. Destabilized perception. In this chaotic start, and I believe it's very chaotic, I really hope the Trump tards put an absolute red hot iron up his ass. If I was there, I'd be having a ball with Lee. We'd be working with Mary. But every day, I dread what tomorrow's going to bring. Eric Prince is going to be, Eric Prince for CIA director, just something absurd. It's like, if ever there was a time for competent people, competency, it's now. Boring competency to just increase US power, get rid of all the parasites, get rid of all the problems bit by bit. Sometimes it's handled quietly. Get rid of Netanyahu eventually when he's done his dirty work. He'll have an apartment, in London. I'm dreading the future now, just in the first day. I'm almost hoping someone blows Trump's brains out and JD Vance comes in. When I saw Vance coming in, I thought, you got to be kidding me. Hoover Institute, Heritage Foundation, here we go. Yale boy. What's he bringing to the table? I wondered. And, maybe he's going to bring the Pompeo Skull and Bones crew, Yale boys, to the table. Because if Trump continues on like this with this bullshit, you want extreme competency. Trump talks about it a lot. But I'm afraid 40 years as a criminal informant, as one of the worst failed business people ever. It's pure gaslighting. I mean, we got to deal with fucking Trump tards and people who think he's the Messiah. It's scary and I don't like it. The man, do you seriously think billionaire real estate developers need to what? Be compares for the World Wrestling Federation? Sorry? Isn't he a billionaire real estate developer who hangs out on reality TV shows? I'm sorry. He's not a billionaire. He's worth 250 million if he's lucky. And he doesn't build the condos, he sticks his name on them. And then they let all the Russian gangsters come in and bring all their drug money in and buy his apartments. He works alongside the FBI. That section of the FBI down there in Florida and New York. He's been an intelligence asset for 40 years of his life. He's a failed, miserable dumbass. They all are, but I'll still take him over that sick, pus-ridden pedophile Biden and his pathetic sick son. I'll still take Trump. I'd vote for Trump. But I'm over keeping my mouth shut. The sooner Trump fucks off, the better. Seriously. The sooner, the better. We just need some extreme competency in there right now. The fact that out of 400 million Americans, you got fucking Kamala Harris and Donald Trump says there's a problem. There is a problem. You already know that. Look, I'm tired of biting my tongue and trying to be positive. What I've seen in the last 24 hours has got me very worried, and I have a horrible feeling there's something very, very wrong already. I guess we'll give it a week before we pass final judgment. At the end of the day, I want to start sitting down and doing voiceovers and more professional stuff, less responding to the fucking news of the day, which is every day and just constantly changing. I don't know. Everyone sounds like they're either Fox News or the CNN. I don't see any independent, free-thinking people out there. I really don't. But I really want to stick more to grand narratives. I may take an issue such as chips, which is extremely important, and show some positive news. But I do know one thing's for sure. See that? That's coming. Godmart Unlocked. Chris Domas. It's going to come out. I want to do a voiceover on that. I think it's very important. Let me get busy. I got to go shopping tomorrow for a curtain so you can't see my dirty stuff here. And I need some stuff because I've already melted a cable. Messing with direct current power, it's not AC, baby. It's direct current. And you better have some thick copper wire and make sure all your connections are right or you're going to melt something. It's been a very interesting time working on solar, and I often wonder about inner and outer as I try to capture energy from the sun as I'm trying to reinvigorate myself. I really need to learn about T-fuses and fuses and emergency cutoffs. I think that says a lot about myself as I want to tap into the infinite power of the sun, and I want to tap back into my very powerful solar plexus down there where I got a lot of energy. But before I do, I might want some fuses and some safety devices in myself, because it looks like the next 10 years is going to be a very wild ride. And I need to start putting out some consistent content, and it will happen. Won't happen overnight, but it will happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply, deeply worried within 24 hours, but we'll see what goes on. We'll see what transpires. But for this current thing people seem excited about, term limits for Congress people in the Senate. I'm sorry, nobody asked for it. I suggest to you that term limits will be placed by the people. How about that? And I think this has got something more about getting rid of competent people than it has with anything else, don't you? I believe it's a furphy. It's going to disappear. It's going to be the news of the day. Hear that? I'm going to leave that in. It's just nonstop. That's another reason I get cranky. The traffic is just fucking nonstop. It's gotten worse, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But it's bad. And it's, even though sound suppression gets rid of it, it's, concentrate with that. Well, I went for the cheap, my Illuminati cheap bunker. Oh, well, we'll get over it. Look, let's just keep moving along, keep engaging. But, I'm getting to the point where I totally understand if you just want to drop out. If Trump in the next week doesn't show that some extreme competency and get some talented people in there, the sooner someone does put a bullet in his head and they just get someone else in and they're better. Because what I'm seeing, Trump is not all there cognitively and he's clearly in decline with his waffling. I put it down to maybe it's fatigue and too many Dexies, but no, he's waffling. And, dealing with him is a big, big problem. It's a big problem. And here we are in the dialectic. Anyway, people will accept him and they'll make excuses for him nonstop because otherwise we'll get Kamala and drag queen story time and madness. Yeah, that appears to be the game. In an age of destabilized perception, good luck. Maintain your sanity. And we'll talk again very, very soon. Always remember F. Scott Fitzgerald.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.